All right, welcome back to our second part of our Swampcast, where we take questions from the crowd here at Art of Billards, Williston Road and 13th Street.
Good place, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're having a good time here, and everybody else seems to be as well. Robbie, go ahead with the first question we got from the crowd here.
Okay, the first one from the crowd is Hernandez back in Meyer's doghouse? No, he's not. Even Meyer said the other day that they probably should have thrown the ball some more in the LSU game, didn't get to. But no, Meyer loves this kid. Look for him to get more touches here in the next few games, and he creates mismatches in the secondary, the way he runs. And this is a big, strong kid that can block too. So I think Hernandez, you'll see more of him here down the stretch.
Yeah, he had that fumble against Ole Miss that was costly, and but it just depends on the game plan, what they're doing defensively.
No, but he's a key part of the playmaking group, and he's going to get the ball.
He's as good as anybody on that field in terms of running after the catch, because he breaks so many tackles. We'll go to the second question. Why are the Gators ranked 10th, parentheses, so low in the BCS rankings? Well, it's quite simple. The computers haven't been kind to the Gators, and the reason the computers have not been kind to the Gators, home loss to Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's really knocked them down a little bit.
Really hurts them in that regard, but don't worry about the BCS. It'll all work itself out. Most of the teams play each other who are ahead other than USC.
But like Tebow said the other day, with the schedule Florida plays, keep winning games. At the end, they're going to be happy where they're at. So
if they keep winning games and they win out, they're going to be 12-1. If they beat Alabama in the championship game, it's going to really shift through.
Alabama, yeah.
But if Texas and Penn State remain undefeated, they got no chance. That's the way it works. That's why you can't afford to lose a game. So I wouldn't worry too much about the BCS right now. But the reason is because the computers, which are a joke anyway, and should not be used in the BCS formula. I mean, you've got guys in their basements and they're playing Dungeons and Dragons on one computer and figuring out college football's playoff on the other. It's ridiculous, but it's the way it is.
Yeah, it's just the system we've got, and you just have to go with it.
Next question, Robbie.
This is from the audience, I think, Pat. Yep. Is Jim Tart playing this week? And if not, will he be ready for Georgia? He's out for this game. This shoulder thing is just driving him crazy.
Oh, I bet.
And it's not the pain, it's the strength in his muscle. It's not strong enough to withstand, going against 300-pound linemen. So he's frustrated. He's trying to come back. He's got a new brace this week. He's hoping to get back next week, and I think that's kind of the goal, get him ready for next week. And, you talk to the coaches in the Ole Miss game, he came out and played 2 series, played great, and then there it went again. It's a problem. It's frustrating for this kid, and you feel bad for him because he's one of the hard workers on that team.
Well, and it's got to be frustrating because you know what it means for the next level.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to look at him and go, this guy's got a bum shoulder. We're not going to draft him. So that's got to be hard. And I think it's part of the reason why that offensive line struggled early in the year.
Even though now I think it's gotten better. Carl Johnson has really come on and done a good job there at that left guard
We were
position.
just talking about that with Tim over there, that since he went in that game in the fourth quarter, Ole Miss is when their offense has been at its best. Really,
it's true. It really has been. And like Tebow said, he's a big, strong guy that can maul you in the running game. And that's kind of what Tart was.
We've got a non-football question here. What does this year's success mean for the Rays next year?
Means Jeff Bartles is happy for now.
Yeah, and I'm not. So, but the bottom line is they got to keep that nucleus together. What you have when you come out of nowhere sometimes is guys all of a sudden become celebrities. And a lot may depend on whether they win it or not. As we record this, they're down 0-1, but they're going to have some free agencies come up. And the one thing about the Braves, when they did that worst to first in '91, they were able to keep that pitching staff together, and that was a big part. That's going to be the key for the Rays.
And the thing is, with Tampa Bay was so bad for so long that they got all these high draft picks.
Yeah,
and that's why they're so good now, all these high draft picks. So
made nice
they have a chance if they keep it together to be a real force for a long time.
All right, you got one more there, Robbie?
This is from the internet, from Gatorsports.com. Swamp Thing wants to know, is it possible the Gators are going to look ahead to their game against Georgia? I don't think so. You talk to the players and they say the way they practice so hard, the intensity, that the coaches don't let you look ahead. So, I don't know what happened with the Ole Miss game. You asked them what happened there. Turnovers mainly. But
it was turnovers. It wasn't a lack of intensity.
No.
I agree with you. I think Urban Meyer is pretty good at getting guys motivated. The fans may be looking ahead to Georgia, but I don't think there's any question.
I think the fans are going to be a little flat for this game. And like you said, if there's a little punt early in the game, there might be a little irritation out there.
Hey, they're the greatest fans in the world, right? They should go out there and support their team and get them fired up. They say they're the greatest fans in the world. We'll find out Saturday.
You only get so many opportunities at home.
Exactly. You only get so many opportunities to go and cheer for your team. Okay, here we go. Of the players with the potential to leave early, in quotes, what are your thoughts on who will be staying and who will be leaving? Well, look, Percy Harvin, see ya.
I don't know, Pat.
Nice.
Pat,
No,
I'm hearing the
way.
word is he's promised his mother he wants to graduate. So that one is
he'll
not
graduate like Emmett did 10 years later.
But I'm saying it's not a done deal yet. So hold off on that one.
See ya. He's gone. I mean, the NFL is going to gobble him up, and I think he's a guy who really is ready for that. So I think he's gone. Brandon Spikes is a curious one because he's played so well. Yeah,
he's gone.
I think he's got to be gone. And Tebow, I asked Urban this before the season when we had our annual beer. And that's the only one I've had since then. So.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But, you know, he said, look, 50-50, depends on how the season goes. Well, what I took from that was they go and win an SEC championship, he might leave. If they go and they go 9-4, he may feel like I've got unfinished business to do. But the bottom line is a lot of it's going to depend on what they tell him. And, I know you talked to Tebow about this, and he said, look, this is a great platform for me to talk about my faith and talk about doing good things, but that's a better platform. Yeah. And he knows that. So right now, if you ask me about Tebow, I would say probably 60-40 gone. Spikes gone, Harvin gone.
I think Spikes has gotten himself ready. He is he's remade himself as far as strength and stuff. They're talking about that yesterday. And when he's focused, he's the best player on the field.
Other than that, certainly Jermaine Cunningham is.
No, I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else.
The thing with Tebow though, Pat, is he an NFL type quarterback? I'm just not seeing that right now.
I don't think he is. I mean, first of all, the running doesn't matter in the NFL, and he throws a nice ball, but it's not like these NFL guys. He's got an arm that's strong, but it's not always accurate. I'm not taking anything away from Tim Tebow. He's a great quarterback, but he's a great college quarterback. Danny Werfel is a great quarterback. Might he be really good in the NFL? Maybe. I'll be curious to see. It'll be fun to watch.
But my thought on that is if he doesn't win a championship, I think it goes 70% that he's staying, because that's one thing he wants to do here. So
could be. It could be he says, you know what, this has been fun. I'm going to go try it somewhere else. So what we're saying is we don't know. All right, last question.
Shocking.
Who do you think would win if the 96 national title team played the 2006 national title team? This comes from Tim. I want to thank Tim, Danielle, Swamp Thing, somebody else for submitting these questions. Well, I wrote a little blog about this earlier in the year, and it came to me when we were in Birmingham. Robbie and I were watching a replay of the 2006 Florida-Tennessee game. And I was watching that game, and I finally turned to Robbie. I go, you know what? 96 team would kill the 2006 team. And here's why. That 96 team had too much offense. The 2006 team, while it had a great defense, and Reggie Nelson would have made a difference, but they wouldn't be able to generate enough offense to win that game. I just think the 96 team was special. Ike Riddell, Ike and Riddell going to the Hall of Fame, by the way, this in April, in the UF Hall of Fame. Danny Werfel, Spurrier was at his peak calling plays. So my feeling is that the 96 team would easily beat the 2006
My feeling is 96 wins, Pat, but I think it's a lot closer than you think, mainly because of that defensive line. The Florida offensive line that year was banged up at the end of the year. I think if Wiley Rich at center against Ray McDonald, those guys, I'm sorry, but I think that they caused enough trouble to keep the game close. But I agree, 96 wins the game, but I think it's close.
Well, Wiley Rich filled in admirably.
Yeah,
he came in the first series against Georgia and played the rest of the year, and of course against FSU. But we'll never know, will we?
No.
Maybe we can go when we go to heaven. They'll play that game off just for us.
Well, I'm sure that's going to happen.
I'm sure God's sitting there going, you know what? I got this on the agenda, war and famine, but let me get the 96 and 06 teams together and play them off for Pat Dooley. You never know. He might be thinking that. Anyway, those are the questions for today.
Wait, Pat, you missed the second part of Danielle's question.
Well, I don't know the answer to it. That's why I ignored it.
I heard this just the other day, and I don't know where I heard it, but apparently the stadium for the Marlins, the question is, what does this...
Are they still in the league?
Yeah. Have there been any new developments for the Marlins' new stadium? From what I've heard, it's on hold right now.
Yeah.
They plan to build a new stadium where the Orange Bowl was. They tore down the Orange Bowl. Now there's nothing there.
Yay!
And apparently it's kind of stuck right now, and nothing's happening right now. So
kind of like the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Kind of stuck right now. Well, we'll see what questions we get next time. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Swampcast Do, and we'll say sayonara from Art of Billards. Robbie, Andreu, Pat Dooley. See ya.